Tonight we are gathered here in this beautiful cathedral to do something very simple and very natural. We have come together to celebrate the birth of a child. Yet the birth of a child, as commonplace as it is very profound. It is a miracle, a glorious event without parallel for the parents of the child, for the relations, for the friends of the parents. Over the course of 13 months in 2020 and 2021, a cousin of my own and her husband gave birth to two children, a boy and a girl. They were born in the midst of lockdowns and restrictions, a very difficult time in world history, a time of uncertainty, a time of no little fear. Yet these two infants brought happiness, joy, and light into that trying time. As they grew, they brought love and joy to everyone who was related to them. They became the center of attention, and somehow the cares of the world retreated in their company. They were a great example of the power of a birth, the ability of a child to change the flow of life and to bring immeasurable hope through their very existence, their very presence among us. A newborn child reinforces the gift that life is. Now, the birth of Jesus that we celebrate here tonight took place in times of unrest and upheaval as well. Yet even though he was born in a backward and unfashionable place, he was to have an immediate effect on those who were around him. Shepherds obeyed the voice of the angels, and the wise men followed the light of a star for hundreds of miles. Those who were evil and self-centered, like Herod, they were worried because they knew that something momentous was afoot, something that would challenge their grip on power and signal the end of the reign of oppression. Within a relatively short period of time, the message of Jesus spread throughout the known world. It was to bring the gift of hope to millions of people who up to that point had suffered in the darkness, fear, and superstition of paganism. Those who followed Jesus' teaching and example ever since have transformed our world. They've challenged the injustice, the violence, and suffering that are so often prominent in human society. We know, however, that the powers of evil and darkness are still rampant in our world. War and terrorism affect the lives of millions. Many children's lives are cut off with willful impunity in the womb by those who promote abortion. And many who are born face exploitation, violence, and starvation across vast swathes of our desperately unequal world. The natural resources of the world are recklessly exploited. Corruption abounds among the rulers of many nations, and the church itself has been rocked by scandal. When we look at the state of our world, it can be very hard at times to believe that the birth of the infant heralded the end of sin and darkness. But it has. And despite all, Jesus still gives us hope. Without Jesus, our celebration of Christmas would be nothing, a pointless exercise that only emphasizes our helpless vulnerability in the face of darkness and evil. The birth of Jesus, the birth of hope that he brought, is what we celebrate at Christmas. And during this season, it always brings a glimpse of something better into our lives. Even though there may be many reasons for sadness and anxiety and despair in our own personal lives, this feast cuts through the darkness and points to what can be and will be in the future. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the American poet, captured the power of this season perfectly in his poem, I heard the bells on Christmas Day. He was in the midst of significant personal sorrow himself, and he heard the bells of Christmas ring out, and they gave him confidence for the future. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. So the miracle of Christmas, the birth of the Son of God as man, assures us that a more loving, understanding, and caring power is ultimately in charge of everything. Jesus can heal when we feel that healing is impossible. He can ease the pain of loss and disappointment. He can change the course of lives hell-bent on destruction. And he can make hope blossom and grow in the most unlikely of places, the most unlikely of hearts and minds. So that is what we gather here to celebrate this night. Not an ordinary event, not even an extraordinary event, but an event that changed everything for us all, for all time. So may your relationship with Jesus grow and deepen so that he can bring miracles into your life in 2022.